The Nick Scott Effect. The Nick Scott Effect. Everywhere podcasts are found.
I have been out here, man. I had a new baby, January 15th.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Little Trinity, she's here. So she's been a blessing. I think she actually almost 2 months, so she'll almost be 2 months. But,
wow.
God been blessing me with some opportunities as far as real estate. I've been able to list this home, man. I got a $1 million listing up, man. And it all came from an appraisal, man. I went to appraisal school like 1.5 years ago, man, and that's been the biggest blessing, man. So being a real estate appraiser and turning these appraisals into real estate, properties I'm actually listing now, man, it's been a blessing. Aside from the music, but I've been creating. I stay consistent. Try to
absolutely.
With the music.
Dude, congratulations. There's nothing else in my life, music or performance or whatever you want to throw out of the resume there, that I've done that is even close to being a dad. And right. I know you feel that way. So
I'm telling you, I'm like, I was trying to explain it to some coworkers who didn't have kids. I'm like, it's like you think you love your partner, right? But once y'all have this little baby, man, it's just this it's almost like a obsession. It's like an obsession, like a life or death type of obsession over this little baby, this little thing that you created, man. And you think you love something, but wait until you had that kid. Your whole that threshold is going. It was here. Once you got that kid, it's gonna go here. Then you're gonna realize how little you really care for a lot of other things, in life. So be like, hey. It's a good it's good, man. It ruffles some feathers. I know these kids ruffle parents' feathers and all that, but hey, they're blessings, man.
Well, I tell you what, for me, what kids did was I needed to grow up some. In my 20s, I was chasing, a dream, whether it be in broadcasting or as a DJ or whatever. And but I always knew I wanted to have kids. I had my wife and I want to have family. But in my kids, I there was a time. I grew up as a preacher's kid, and I had become very bitter and resentful towards church, and swore I'd never go back. And I think the Lord used kids. You're talking about the Lord blessing you. I think He used my kids to kind of get me back into a relationship with Him, because it was about 1 year ago I started to realize, like, man, my kids don't know who Jesus is or any of the stories we hear in Sunday school about Moses and Noah and all these things. And, I felt like a terrible dad. I felt like I was really failing them as a father. So having kids not only helped me grow up as an adult and put life priorities into perspective, but it got me back into a relationship with God, which I think is probably one of the most important things my kids have done for me,
Yeah, I would agree with you on that, man. It's because my son, when he was born, he's 7 now, but he had these ear infections. He kept getting them, and I'm like, they're like, might not be able to read. They kind of say he was autistic, and my biggest fear was he might not be able to have a relationship with God like I was able to find myself. And I'm like, now I grew up in the church too. My mother's a pastor. She been in, had a church for about 15, 20 years now. So I'm like, that's why I say I grew up in the church, but I was kind of raised by the streets. I had a lot of freedom, and and so that's why I got my like street smarts, but just and now I'm like, he broke through and he's able to, like, we pray and he's like, God, amen, and all this, and he's just, so it's a blessing. And it was just super scary. It comes with having these kids, but that was my biggest fear when he was having these ear infections, that he wouldn't be able to, be able to speak. Cause I'm like, that's the most important thing, being able to read and speak. Cause I'm like, if you can read, man, listen, you're going to be just fine. But, yeah, man, kids definitely change your life, man.
So did he have like a lot of ear infections, or he wasn't able to hear?
Well, ear infections, and he reacted bad to some, vax. Not I don't know what it was. It was like the measles, something MMR, or something. I'm just like, because they were just trying to load them all up in one. Like, hey, we can just mix this with this and this. Hey, how you feel about it? I'm just like, whoa, let's not do that. Let's because what if something go wrong? You won't know how to pinpoint it and all that. So even it's being parenting with somebody else. You just got to hope that the decision you want to go with, they can agree with it. But man, I tell you, it's super tough when you in there seeing your little baby in there, just and they telling you, hey, we should recommend this. I'm just like, yo, I just want him these ear infections to stop so he can catch up, so he can be talking. Because I'm like super smart, but I'm like, he's just don't be talking, man.
Did they do tubes? Did they do the tubes in his ears?
Tubes, tubes. A couple times they was falling out and all that, but man. But now I'm telling him to be quiet. I'm like, yo, shut up. All the time he talking now. So
my daughter, when she was probably a year and a half, she started getting sick a lot all the time. And ear infections and fevers that come with the ear infections, and she'd get these ear infections that would make her sinuses, runny nose and all these things. And at the time I was still working in terrestrial radio, and I had like no time off whatsoever. So it was hard for me to take the day off to, be with her. Thankfully, my wife was a state employee at the time and could take the time off with her. But what I'm getting to is I think she had like 6 ear infections in her right, 6 in her left. And finally, I went to our pediatrician, whom I love. She's a sweetheart doctor, wonderful doctor. But I was like, I know tubes are going to help my daughter, and I just want to help my daughter. So let's do the tubes. Like, I just want to help her have some relief. And dude, I'm not joking. Once they put those tubes in, it was like a light switch went off.
That's it.
And she was fine. And now she's 9, and we have a surgery scheduled this June, which I'm a little nervous about. One of the holes from the tube, when the tube fell out when she outgrew it, she actually has a hole in her eardrum for where the tube was. It didn't heal right. So they have to do like a skin graft over that hole. But I'm dad, man. She could be, going in to get her teeth cleaned, and I'm nervous,
Okay, right. Yeah. Usually the ears are pretty safe little, procedures, and even though they don't let you watch them knock them out. That's how I was like, they was like, oh, we got to let y'all go. We can't watch y'all, when they hit them with the gas. No, they like, nah, y'all parents be acting up, man.
Yeah, it is worrisome. It's funny how kids do that. My son, he'll be 5 this year, and we're going to have him evaluated too, because we're wondering if he's on that. You were talking about being on the spectrum.
Right.
He's smart as can be, and has no really tells of that, other than what brought this to my wife and I's attention is he gets stuck in these loops. Prime example, we went to Disney a couple months ago, and we gave him and my daughter, and so did some family members, some money to spend at Disney while we were there, because our families knew we were going. So he saw this green Hulk, Incredible Hulk toy. And he's like, Daddy, can I get it? Absolutely, man. You got that? You got that Christmas money? Sure. But buddy, we don't want to carry this around the park all day. So let's get it when we leave. And for the next 2 hours, every 30 seconds or more, can I go get the Hulk? Can I get the Hulk? Can we go get that Hulk? After this ride, can we go get the Hulk? After I meet this character, can I go get the Hulk? After we eat here, can I go get the Hulk? Can I get the Hulk? He didn't care about a ride. He didn't care about a character. He didn't care. It was Hulk, over. And there was nothing we could do to break him out of that. Now, is that just being a kid? I don't know.
Yeah. Because I was asking people, I said, man, what's normal, man? Like, I'm like, what is normal? You got normal people out here that are normal, like they're glued to their phone. They do whatever social media tell them to do. They're not even being productive people in society. You know what I'm saying? But these are the normal people, Yeah. But then you got these other ones that are the quiet ones, that are the different ones, and they're doing just fine, man. They're, they figured out something they like, they stick with it, they can be happy and all that. You got normal people out here just depressed left and right.
Yeah.
They just all depressed. They just, just lost in this, lost souls, no guidance, too many options. I'm like, but y'all the normal people, so I'm like, man, I was just telling him, like, my son gonna be A-okay. I'm like, he understands operation. That was my main thing. I'm like, he understands how things operate. And I'm like, he's very so I'm not worried about him. I'm like, and then what's scary, it was times, you cry about it. Like, is my son gonna be able to read and talk, like, this and that? I done had them days, them nights. And then watching my wife cry too, and I'm telling her like, some days I just can't cry with you because I don't believe what you know. I'm like, I just know he's not, and time thing, he just grew out of it, man. Some of these kids, they just grow out of some of this stuff. I remember some of the stuff I was doing as a kid. I used to, anytime I would touch my left cheek, I would touch my right. If my left elbow hit this, I would have to hit my right. I was like, it was freak me out. I would do it. I was so obsessive about this OCD, like tripping.
Yeah.
Then it was like styrofoam. I couldn't hear it. I would like torture myself to where I just like had to get over it and just like bite it and chew it because I'm just like, yo, the sound of it. I'm just
wow.
yo, this, so I'm just used to
That's
chewing
fascinating.
it. And it was the hardest thing to do to chew on it, but I said I got to get over this. So I'm just like, what is it? And now I'm just, it don't bother me.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, kids gonna go through these phases because I'm like, man, I just I'm just like, I don't know, man.
I was diagnosed with ADD when I was about 12 years old. And I think a little OCD comes with that, just naturally. But I think my daughter, maybe my son too, has inherited a little bit of that from dad. And for that, guys, I'm very sorry.
Right.
But you're talking about being OCD. I never had a lot of the OCD stuff. My wife is OCD when it comes to certain things. Like in her closet, all of the colors are organized, like red shirts are here, blue shirts are here. You know what I mean? I was never that way, but I worked with a guy in radio. He was telling me before they actually medicated him, before he could leave his apartment to go to work, he had to unplug everything but his fridge, and he had to leave at a time to where he hit a certain stoplight exactly at a certain minute and then get to work. And if any of that in that chain didn't happen perfectly, his whole day was ruined. I was like, man, that's tough.
That's
living.
a way to live, man. Hey, I wonder how successful he was at that, man. I wonder what was like his his ratio is like,
Yeah, how many
was he
times he
undefeated?
actually hit it right on the mark? Yeah, I don't know.
Probably undefeated, man. Sounds like a real plan, man.
Well, you were talking about what is normal, and this is kind of raw. My wife lost a close friend of hers a couple days ago to suicide, unfortunately. Yeah, and we've had a lot of discussions over the last several days about mental health, depression, and I think that is parallel to what is normal. Most folks see people just at face value. They don't see what's deep in here and what people are fighting. And I think it's so easy for folks with OCD and with ADD and these other type of traits to unfortunately fall into depression. So I've been on this message this week of just kind of taking care of each other, checking in on your friends and letting people know that you love them, because sometimes that's what people need to hear, is that they're loved. You know what I mean?
Correct. I just lost my brother, man. He lost his baby sister, man. Just a crazy act of God, just something crazy. Never would have expected it, man. So shout out to my boy Rod, rest in peace. Like, that just happened. It's and then after that, I'm like, somebody in Atlanta who I kind of knew, I'm just like, it's a lot going on right now as far as like that. But as far as that suicide and that mental, man, that's what I be telling. That depression, man, it can hit you, but the best way to get out of that depression is get in the gym and start exercising, because that you can get some natural dopamine. You're gonna feel better. Like people, you got to take that step. You got to do that. You got to get off the social medias of people telling you how to feel about certain, you got to detach, you got to unlearn, relearn, change the food you're eating up, make sure you hydrated. All these things can factor into you being not feeling, I know what an edge up could do to some people. You could take a bum might feel like he depressed, take him and give him a makeover, watch him walk out there feeling like he can accomplish the world, no longer depressed,
Absolutely.
So it's from the way you look, the way you feel, it's all these things tied up. And when you don't, when you ignore it, because life is complex. It's not supposed to be like, all right, we just wake up, we're going to eat, we're going to do that, we're going to go. Like, no, you got to do, like, it's certain things we lost, man. We don't know how to heal ourselves from natural plants. We can't go out in the woods and just, hold on, we need this. We like, it's natural remedies, identifying certain plants and herbs just for survival needs. We don't know how to start fires, basic things. Adults, overweight, can't jump a fence, can't ride a bike, can't swim. You couldn't even swim. If they dropped you 15 feet away from shore, you wouldn't even make it. You see what I'm saying? These are survive. You couldn't even save your kid or nothing like these. If a dog was chasing, how you couldn't climb on, like, this is real serious things that people are just like ignoring. And I'm like, you got to wake up. Y'all, like, these are basic survival things. You should be able to jog down the street or run down the street at the age of 30, 35, 40. Like I'm saying,
Right.
You should not be that to where you just that out of shape, but doing all the bad things. You can get high, you can get drunk, you can they can tell you, hey, let's go party, but why ain't them people ever telling you, hey, let's get these vitamins, hey, let's read these books, hey, let's go do this, let's go give out some food just for no reason. Why do they always recommend the bad stuff? Why is it? It's two ways to look at things. They can go, and more than likely, somebody taught me that I always went with my way.
Yeah.
Not even thinking like, what if I went that way, but I was on the other side watching me go that way. What would I say to that? And what would be my like? There's another way to look at things, man. And people always just take the easy route. I'm gonna just sit at home. I'm gonna just turn the TV. I'm gonna just drink. But I'm saying if you can do the balance, man, and just do the workout. You can enjoy all the things. It's all it starts with an M, right? Moderation. It's all moderation, man. And you can still have a good life and do all that, but it's just that greed, man, and jealousy and envy. And then if you ain't got the right environment you in, and you ain't got the right supportive system, it's hard to be depressed, man, because you won't let some of these people go. And God been trying to get these people away from you. You've been trying to get away from these people, but it's certain vices and certain things that you got ties to that will not let you go. Yeah. And call it what you want, whether it might be the devil, man. I'm just saying, people have told you, God has showed you, your mom and dad probably said it something, so, and you just not doing it, and you get the results you get.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that's really helped me is dieting. Watching. I've always been a foodie. And I've packed on a few pounds here and there. I've lost 10 in the last couple of weeks. I'm trying to get down to maybe another 10. That'd be about where I was in high school.
Man, you looking good, man.
Well, thank you. I'm trying. The heaviest I ever got, now I'm 5'10". The heaviest I ever got was about 223 pounds right after my wife and I got married, because homegirl up there can cook and daddy would eat all of it. So, but another thing for me, and this ties right in with you, is music. Music has always been an outlet for me. My upbringing, as a youth, and I was raised in a very charismatic, totalitarian religious setting. I've joked and said, we were this close to being bit by rattlesnakes and all this stuff, So music always helped me deal with when I needed a release or I needed some words of encouragement when I didn't know where else to find them. And I think that's why I was always attracted to music. And that's why I went into radio and DJing and the things that I do. What made you decide to go into music one day? Just when you were a young kid, did you see Jay-Z or something? And thought, man, I want to do that.
I tell you what, I remember seeing it's funny though, seeing a little Romeo and little Bow Wow, and them getting it in. Just the young from their first, and then there was little Sammy too, and he was from Ohio, and they said that even Bow Wow, Sammy, and I had kind of seen him one time on a family trip and just seen the limousines. So I'm like, oh, is this little kid with these chains on? I'm like, he's a rapper? Like, what? So I kind of like just started paying attention to it. But then my sister was like, you should rap. So I ended up doing I ended up writing music super young with my boy Jody Lee. We was and David Harvey. He was the first one to put us in the studio, and we was like in maybe, I want to say possibly fifth grade, around there. Yeah, fourth, fifth grade. So that was the time I did my first song, and did my first talent show at the sixth grade at Stonewall, and then end up meeting my boy Chaz. So just seeing I feel like now growing up, I feel like, oh man, they tricked us. They kind of tricked all of us, because it's ridiculous how many of us black kids, and now it's like all races. Everybody wants to be a rapper or a professional sports player. And
this episode of the podcast is sponsored by the Appalachian Outpost. So all the craze, especially around West Virginia, Kentucky, Southern Ohio, Pennsylvania, is the off-road industry. You might see the Razors going down the road, the side-by-sides, guys with big jacked up Jeeps. That's kind of the craze right now. So down in southern West Virginia, near Logan, West Virginia, the Appalachian Outpost came on the scene to serve that industry, the boom of off-roading. There's a Hatfield and McCoy trailhead right there at the resort. So you could haul your side-by-side, your rock crawler, your four-wheeler, whatever, down to the Appalachian Outpost. They have cabins that are gorgeous that you stay in, you can go ride, and then when you come back in the evening, the Broken Axle's right there on site where you can grab a drink with some friends and some really good food. So your next outdoor excursion starts at AppalachianOutpost.com. That's AppalachianOutpost.com. You can book right there, right now.
Well, growing up now, man, just being a little older, just seeing like how every kid wants to be either in the NBA or rap, it's like nothing's changed. It's like, I guess from me being a child and all these kids now, like they're still not, and I'm not, maybe there's just not, other things to admire, or they just don't know. It might be a lack of knowledge, but I'm like, we're still being sold the same dream. It's just like kind of like, you see how TikTok is giving their kids a whole different version of TikTok. They giving them a whole education. They take all the bad stuff out. But over here, they like, if you look it up, literally they got like an educational TikTok that they allow the kids under 18 on, and they set certain hours. Meanwhile, they give us all the crazy, wild twerking, this dumb 6 second short attention span stuff. Like, it's like, wow. And you can see like it's kind of dumbing down, but music, seeing it, man, I seen Jaquan. He used to be, he inspired me. Just seeing, then I remember my boy Tyrus put me on Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne, I was kind of like, bro, he ain't that good type stuff. But he's like, no, you're not listening. He like, you just I was attached to catchy hooks and simple things and trying to relate to everybody. But Wayne put me on the metaphors and similes, So then I start really like, oh, this is art. This is like Shakespeare-ish type stuff right here. Like, then I seen the skill and talent behind it. Ended up going to hip hop boot camp, man. That's where I met my wife at hip hop boot camp at Camp Virgil Tate, man.
Oh yeah,
we both went there.
I've done a lot at Camp Virgil Tate back in the day. I think that's like a
right.
hidden gem of the Charleston area.
Yeah. I'm telling you, not a lot of people know, but man. So that but I just kept doing it. I did my first sixth grade, fifth grade, actually, I forgot you said we went out, but I met Jody Lee, fourth and fifth grade, and David Harvey, he was the one who put us in the studio because that was his big cousin. And then on sixth grade, I did my first talent show, and I tell you why, because I was hooping, but I didn't make my 2.0 like my mom said, so she made me quit the team, and that coach remained there for the rest of my time at that middle school. He made sure I never made the team, so I was forced to do something, and I just went with the music, so it was kind of like, act of God. Hey, you focus on the music.
Yeah.
And then I went to high school, and now I'm playing behind Perrier Henry and Aaron Dobson, two, professional sports players. I'm like, I can't get a break. My senior year, the head coach who been training me this whole time quits on it. So now we got a new head coach. I'm like things just didn't stack up for me with basketball, and my dad being so well known for basketball in the city. So I'm just like, then I go to state, I'm literally warming up, doing back thing, trip up, fall on like my spine or something. Couldn't even run. I was just like, yo, God is saying, bro, no, you're not doing basketball. You got to go. You got to chase this music dream, get out there and do something else, So I just took that as a sign, and been on it ever since, studying, picked up a camera, got my own microphone probably when I was in like 12th grade, 11th grade, was recording in my room, just been doing it all, just writing music literally since 5th grade. And now like really seeing some good return on it. This most recently I got two songs out. I'm not sure what songs they're going to be on for Netflix, but I got in contact with a music supervisor.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. He was like, yo, they was like, create, they're looking for songs like 90s themed, East Coast, West Coast, Biggie, Tupac. So I literally just, tailored these songs towards them, and I made like 5, but they chose 2. I'm waiting on the check. It's gonna be an entryway, but they was like, it led to another contract and being able to have my own catalog that people can choose from. So I'm not gonna get no money yet, but I'm just happy to be able to have my music there. They can come across and use because I never knew how to get in those type of doors, and that came from an appraisal. One of my clients from an appraisal. So, it's like,
that's crazy.
It's crazy, man.
So you got a lot of these new doors open for you through real estate, essentially.
Through real estate, man.
That's crazy.
Meeting people.
So
Yeah, and
I love our story, how I got to meet you, which I've told several times, which I think is just kind of hilarious. Hilarious in a kind of a funny way. You know, I got to a wedding venue. I was hired to be the DJ for this wedding, and someone said, "Oh, a friend of the bride." I think you were a friend of the bride, or maybe both. But for my memory, it was the friend of the bride. He's a rapper. He's from Charleston, West Virginia, but he's in Atlanta now, and he's got all these songs. He's known in the area. He's made a name for himself in West Virginia and in Georgia and in the rap scene, and he's going to be here tonight. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I remember you came up to me. You were like, Nick, I used to listen to you on the radio, and I'm like, oh God, my hip's breaking, you know. And but in that moment, you were like, hey man, I'll rap, and I'm like, absolutely. And you gave me some tracks, and we pulled some finagling live in the moment, and you actually hopped on the mic and performed some of your songs right there for the crowd, which they went wild. They loved it. They were friends of yours too. But that was my first exposure, and I remember thinking, I've never heard this kid rap. He could be amazing. He could be awful. Yeah. So, but I remember like you gave me the track. And you started in, I was like, oh shit, like this kid can go, you know what I mean? And that gave me a whole new, I guess, appreciation for you and what you do. And now walk me through the process, your beats, your music, your songs. Do you create all of that yourself?
So the production, I work closely with the producers. I pretty much they're my friends, you know.
Sure.
And sometimes I'm working with some people I've met at 11th Street and all that. But I've done the producing thing, and I feel like I will be really great at it. I always said I'm gonna probably try to do it a little later on. But for me, doing the videos, the editing, the writing, the engineering. And I'm like, I still got to go to work, still got to be a dad. And I'm like, man, if I add the beats on there, I'm going to be like, but it's still something I probably absolutely need to, because I always have these beats in my head, and I'm telling these producers what to do, how to make these beats, and like how I want them. And so it's just like I might as well just orchestrate them myself. But I literally do all that from the video. You still there, brother?
Yep. Sorry.
Okay. I'm still doing the but I'm literally setting my camera on a tripod, then using software to zoom in and out, using green screen and replace backgrounds and adding certain effects, and it's just it's more therapeutic than it is me looking to do this to get famous. And it's like, yo, this is my idea I see in my head, and I'm actually bringing it to life. And I understand what it's saying. It's got a neighbor. Okay. And I understand that you can't do it all yourself, and to get to that next level, I'm gonna probably have to get some help and all that. But I just love the art of it, and that's what I want people to get back to, because all you hear now is these new. Here's my problem with the new rappers. It's nothing we never heard before, because it's so oversaturated. And then when you're talking about the guns and killing, and I'm just like, I'm off that boat, and it seems like a lot of people are too. The only people who are still on that boat are the people who are trying to make that music.
Yeah.
It seemed like a lot of people want some substance, and it seemed like Afro beats, that stuff is taking over right now. So.
And we're still recording. I think so. Our internet, we got really bad. Did you guys get really bad winds last week down there in Georgia?
Oh yeah.
So we got a really bad windstorm up here, and our internet was out for like 4 days. They redid a whole bunch of lines outside of here. So we've had some problems with our network and our internet here, and I had to kick it into what's called low data mode. We're supposed to get 1 gig download here, and we've been getting like 50 to 100. They know it. So I just want to make sure our recording quality here stays good and stays up, and I'll be able to put these files together at the end. So it's all good. But,
no problem.
And I knew once I met you and I follow you on Instagram and socials, I knew that I wanted to have you on the podcast because, it's inspiring. I see you, being a dad and chasing real estate and chasing your dreams and chasing music and hustling like the rest of us. And I was like, man, this is a guy who's out there like getting after it for his passion for what he's doing, as well as being a dad, and providing for his family. So kudos to you, man. Do you ever find yourself, and I battle with this, I'll have opportunities come in for me to go perform, but it's the same weekend, like trick or treat's on. You're like, oh, I know I can't go do that. You know, I got to be here trick or treat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure, man. It's a lot of opportunities sometimes to just miss out on because I'm just like, I'm not going. You know, I got a little 2-month old. Sometimes I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go home, hold my baby, chill with her. You know, like, because I mean, you can pretty much network from anywhere now. You could get some eyes on you if you with the content. You can pay to promote to get in front of people. But I know the importance of definitely going outside and doing that network and stuff. But you know, when it's family time, it's just much easier to be like, you know what, I can't ever feel like I made the wrong choice with this one.
Absolutely.
You know, but I can definitely feel like if I left and yeah, you know, I missed just even, you know, because we never know how much time we got on this earth, you know. And if I'd rather make a decision and just be like, hey, I missed out on that, but at least I'm with my family, you know.
There's been a few times, you know, last 2 years ago, I missed out on trick or treat with my son and my daughter. It was the first trick or treat like post pandemic when they were really able to, you know, and I had booked some kind of event, wedding or some kind of booking or something. And I remember that just chewed me alive. So now when I look at October or I look at November and December and folks come to me, I really have that inner battle. Like I want to make sure I'm not, because they're only little once, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I didn't know if you find that struggle or not.
Big struggle, man. Listen, my schedule right now is like I'm waking up, and if I don't wake up at least around 6 or something, you know, I'm doomed because if my son ain't got school, he's down here. He gonna be in here. Ain't no focus going on. But when he does got school, he you know he goes at about 7:30. Then you know I pick him up. Then I got to go to work, and by the time I get off work, he's back asleep. And I'm just telling him like, you know, I gotta work and all that. But I'm just like I kind of don't care about the money so much. I'd rather just boost my real estate thing, and you know, because I got a nice job downtown too, serving at this upscale luxury like bowling alley. It's super cool, man.
Oh, that's awesome,
man. If you ever come to Atlanta, it's a vibe. You gonna be like, oh, I want to work here too.
Heck
like
yeah.
Straight up, man. It's just a vibe. It's super cool and easy. So I'm just like, you know, I'm just like, I'm just like, wait, I'm like, man, my son don't ever see me. He don't see me before he go to sleep. And sometimes he don't see me before he leave for school. I'm just like, I ain't cool with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get caught up in the torn in between, man. It happens.
It does happen. Do they hire DJs at this place you serve at?
I was about to tell you, man. Fridays and Saturdays, man,
Let's
hire
go.
them, and bro, they be throwing out some money. I had to go back there one time and say, how much did y'all pay this DJ? I seen the price they paid him. I said, bro, I could come in here and do this for y'all because I'm walking out with like a $350 or something. This guy getting paid this to do that.
Yeah.
I said, oh no. I said, I got a DJ for you.
There you go. Absolutely. Now, do you get up here, speaking of performances, do you get up to West Virginia to do any gigs or events ever so often?
Tell you what, I have not, man. I don't know what's up with here's the thing with West Virginia, man, especially in the rap scene. You just got favoritism at an all-time high. They just got their friends that they see down the block. They might see them at the store, Kroger. So I don't know what it is, but it's like they're blind to skill, they're blind to business, they're blind to professionalism. I'm like, how do you make a certain list? How do you even talk about West Virginia music and purposely as a whole collect like y'all leave me out when I'm like, and I'm just like, bro, and then but it's be the same people who you see watching all your material, sometimes liking, sometimes commenting in the DM, but never publicly, you know. And it's just like it's kind of disrespectful, man, because it's like when you just move so far away, putting so much on the line, trying to break
through, yeah,
trying to break through that barrier for just so I can even try to do something for. It's like, and then I get support, but I want the support from the artist. You know, that's who it's like man to man. Like when you walk in a room full of men and they, you know, if you're in a room full of lawyers, you want these lawyers respect for you. Like you give it to them. You want them to take you serious and all that. But if just because this lawyer is working a little harder than everybody, don't mean that y'all should get with them and be like, hey, how can I work? Because you'll get new rappers come in and they just be like, hey man, let me get a feature, this and that. They don't want to pay. They want a video. They don't want to pay. It's business. you got to be able to Google. You can't even Google. Where's your merch? Where's your campaigns? Where's your website at? And I'm like, y'all got to be professional. If y'all going to really try to promote yourself on a scale and say you the best from West Virginia, at least look like it,
Sure. Well, I got to a point now in my career, there was a time where, in my 20s, late 20s, where I let ego get the best of me because I'm very passionate about what I do. And, I thought I was the best there was, the best there is, the best there ever be, like Bret Hart. But I'd say in the last 5 years or longer, I reached a point where, hey, I get that I'm not going to be in the music scene forever. I just turned 40 this year. In April, next month, I will have been in broadcasting and in the DJ industry for 20 years exactly. I started in April of 2003. And I just got to the point where, what is the purpose of, quote unquote, hating on one another? I found myself wanting to teach and uplift and support and encourage younger DJs, or even DJs that have been doing it for a while, that just wanted maybe a new outlook or a new thought process. And instead of like finding something that worked for me and trying to safeguard it and hide it so no one else could steal it or replicate it, I found myself being like, well, here, let me show you how I set this lighting up, or let me show you how I use Serato, or let me show you how I use, there's this new program I use called My DMX Go, where I can control all my lights from the touch of an iPad in the middle of my set while I'm DJing. It's amazing. There was a time where I would have safeguarded that, where I wouldn't have shown any other DJs, especially here locally, that type of stuff, because I didn't want them to maybe creep in on what I was getting for me. But now I'm at the point, it's like, no. Let me show you how to do this. Let me show you how to do social media. Let me show you how to build a flyer. I just found myself to the point where I want to help and not be a hinder. Does that make sense?
Right. Absolutely. That's very important, man. Cause I like gatekeepers, man. And there's a couple of them in West V, man. There's a couple of them. I won't say no names, but that you see it. They don't want you. They don't want your music play. They don't want you to put. They want to get the people they know to perform at certain things. It's just like, but even on the teaching side, I'm with you on that now, because I want to be the one showing. I'm like, yo, just reach out to me. I'm asking all these people, just reach out to me. Ask me anything. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'll actually show you. But it's like they don't have the ego to ask you for help, or even want to reach out and be like, yo, I actually need help. And I'm like, man, I'm just to the point where that's why I'm trying to start this new, I don't know what it is fully yet or how to do, but it's the creative players. It's almost like just everything I've accumulated, just and learned and skills that I know that I can help somebody with as far as real estate appraising, or, just how to carry yourself, how to sales calls, just certain things, even from being a dad. I want to give advice on how to, if some people didn't have a dad growing up and they need advice for I want to just have these videos and just have so much stuff on there just where I'm just teaching you, giving you so much game, because it's going to help you guys. And like you said, when you talk about pressing the button with the light, with the iPad and showing the other DJs, by doing that, anybody who comes to Charleston, they're going to take Charleston more serious and see the more professionalism. And you're going to be like, that's actually because of me. And then you just got to hope that these guys give the creator his props instead of just stealing his ideas and taking them as your own, because Charleston's good for that. If one person's selling this and doing great at it, here comes 5 more people. They going to figure out a way to do it, and they might cut the price. So,
there was a time where I did that, and then I had to later in life check myself on ego. And I'll give you one story. And when I tell you the story, please don't take it as I'm being braggadocious, because it's not the way that I mean it. But
hey brother, you mind if I hit my mojo?
Go ahead, do your thing, brother. Okay. I got a bottle here. We'll circle back to when I first moved here, but good friend of mine has a podcast called the Bourbon Podcast. His name's Ben Salengo. I don't know if you know Ben here in the Charleston area. And their podcast is awesome. He actually got to go to Buffalo Trace and tap some barrels of Buffalo Trace for a client of his. I forget the exact story. He had to taste test one of the different barrels for a client or the restaurant or something. But anyways, they gave him some bottles of the barrels that he tapped, and this is one of them that he actually gave me, and it has his logo right here on the back, which is pretty cool. So props to my friend Ben. Thank you for that. That was very, very kind of him. And I took a little sip of it just to try it the other night. It's fantastic. But anyways,
I'm telling you.
But anyways, back to about me. So when I moved here, more about me. No, when I moved here in 2006, I remember going out with some friends, and there was one like dance club nightlife spot, and in the whole town. Downtown, and they had a DJ who this guy's become a close friend of mine, DJ Bopper. Shout out to Bopper. He still does some stuff on the side, not a lot like he used to, but Bop back in those days, he just had a laptop set up with like iTunes, and that's what he was playing music from. Now this is 2006, 2007, and he did a great job at it. I'm not knocking him. Like he had the dance floor popping with just an iTunes or whatever the automated playlist software he was using. He did a fantastic job. But there were no DJs in the Charleston area at that time that at least I was aware of that were using turntables and records and actually mixing and cutting and scratching and doing all the things. So in late 2007, early 2008, a nightclub opened in Charleston. The owners had heard that I had experience doing that. They hired me, and I was their resident DJ for 3 years. And I started bringing the techniques and turntables and mixing and scratching, into that club. And then by 2010, I took my turntables and my mixer, and when I was going out doing weddings, I remember having someone look at me and say, no one would ever want to DJ with 2 turntables at a wedding. And I just kind of laughed at them. I'm like, all right, bet, watch this. But fast forward to like 2013, 2015, now there was like 5-10 cats with turntables and mixers and trying to scratch and cut and beat mix. When, to my knowledge, I was the first one on the scene doing it in 2006, 2007. So there was a time where I got cocky about that. It was a point of ego for me. And I had to deal with that about 5-6 years ago and saying, no, there probably was somebody else out there. I know DJ Charlie Black was out doing it, and I didn't know him at that time. So, there was another guy out there doing it at that time. I didn't know, but the point is I had to let my ego go and be like, dude, you're not that special. You're not that important. There's other people that do this. And in it, even if I was the only one doing it at that time, who cares? Like like you were talking about gatekeeping or people stealing other people's ideas. What does it matter if I inspired someone to grab turntables? Good. I'm glad that I did.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I agree, man. 100%. I had to get out of that myself. When I first was getting on, like, oh, I know how to do this. I know how to do, I know how to make this look like that. I know how to put this on World Star, this and that. It's just like, why would I not want to help, but it was a point where I wouldn't help. And I'm just like, we're competing. We're at a competition. I'm not giving you my sauce. Y'all my competition. Y'all don't really, unless you would really like show me love or respect, I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to help you out.
Yeah.
It's just so you can go and sneak diss me in your post and your songs. Like, I'm like, that ain't going to happen, man. But now I'm to the point where, bro, do y'all best of luck. But, it's like, just best of luck, because you can't do it like I can do it. My ideas are my ideas. The way I see it, I could tell you what I want to do. You could try to go open it and replicate, but you don't have everything. You got that. I got the blueprint. You just got a picture in your head,
One of the best quotes that I've ever heard came from the late great DJ AM. I don't know if you know DJ AM, but he's a legend in our industry. Passed away way too young. But he said once upon a time, I forget how it even got brought up. Someone was stealing his music or they were recording his sets. And the question was, well, are you afraid that, other DJs are stealing what you're doing or whatever? And he came back and said, I can give them my entire hard drive and they'll never play it the same way that I play it. And I think that's true of any artist in any platform. You know what I mean? Speaking of artists, do you have any new music out? I think I've seen some, man, every time I come across you on Instagram, you got a video with some lady with very endowed bosoms dancing in your music videos. I'm like, man, what is he doing out here?
Okay, so that is me. That is me fighting back against the algorithm of Instagram. That is me using since now Instagram just want to put a whole bunch of booty on my timeline, and I go to my explore page, it's nothing but booty all over it and boobies and beautiful women.
Sure.
I say, okay, if they allow me to use this feature called remix, and all you got to do is use their material, add 3 seconds at the end, and switch the video up a little bit, and I'm getting paid from it. So I busted Instagram's head last month. I kept posting them, getting all these views, and they got to pay me for it. So they paid me like $200. I got like $200 out of them last month just for doing them. So finding videos that can relate to my music, remixing them, add my music on there like promo, and they're making sure. And it's like clickbait. And I'm like, this is what y'all doing. So
why can't I do it? Yeah.
Yeah, and then Instagram, they took my pay down twice this month.
So what I'm seeing is actually someone else's video content. You're remixing, or if you're on TikTok, what do they call it, duetting or whatever?
Duetting,
right?
Yep,
and
what they say.
But with your music under it.
With my music under it, so I'm making it look like it's mine. And for people that don't know, they're gonna be like, "Oh, hey, they're using this guy's music." So, hey, and then I'm doing that, and then on Twitter, I'm using like, Charleston White has been real controversial lately. Yeah. So he's been talking about sending people to jail. He called himself the police, and I had a song called Police, and he made this. He was fighting. He was beefing with T.I. Made this video just dancing crazy. Somebody edited a video of him and made a song out of it, and he's just dancing. So I said, "Hey, look what Charleston White got to say," and I put my music on it. Was posting it under everything police related on Twitter, like with the hip hop industry, man. And that thing, I had almost 3 million impressions in January. My music has never ever did this much, and I never had this much success with just that one song, like off one song. And that's that Police. And man, I'm telling you, it was added on streams, and it's still going. Like, and it was the most Shazammed. I'm like, yo. So I've been dropping. I dropped 2 more songs, one R&B song and then another one called Paper. But now I'm playing catch up because I got to shoot this video for Police. But I just want to keep feeding. I wanted to feed those people who just became my fans on Spotify. So I said I need to just drop for something for them and give them something else. But that Police video, I got the whole script down, man. I'm like, it just came to me like 2 nights ago. I couldn't think of how I was gonna shoot this video. But then I watched the movie, The Matrix, man, and I said, yo, watch how I do this, man. Watch how I do it, and it's going to be so.
What I think you need to do, and I'm not telling you what you need to do, but give me some, man. I think someone who's very influential in the West Virginia hip hop scene is my friend Woody. I think you're friends with Woody. I know he's doing a lot of shows at Vino's, which is I have a lot of national listeners, so I try not to make it too local, the podcast too local, but we are both, West Virginians, so it hits home to us. He's doing a lot of shows with my friend Vicente at Vino's, so, I could absolutely, in my mind, I don't know why this couldn't be possible, could see you and Woody and Vino's and having a Feenyx performance here. I can see it in my mind. And I think I would believe that would be a great show to have a Charleston native here performing. I don't know. I'll send Woody a message. I'll even clip this and send it to him. For me, I think that would be a wonderful thing to have you do. And I'd be there in a heartbeat. I'd love to see you live.
Man, look, bro, I'll tell you a story about Woody, man. Back in 2010, when I graduated, me and my boy Quince, we won this little interview to play our song for 107.9 down here. We won it on like a Monday, and we was down here on a Tuesday. We just hopped in our car, drove off or something, I think. But it was just so happened it was like BET weekend happening down there or something, and we didn't know too much about that. But man, we at my aunt's house drawing on CDs, getting them, burning them, old school. I got footage of it. We burning all this material, writing on them, packaging them. All right, let's go. My boy like, let's go to Atlanta. I'm like, just wait. Like, we're going to go. I'm just, no, something told me like, all right, let's go. We got enough. Let's go now. We get downtown, park our car. Maybe 3 minutes in, this dude's just walking around, and he's like, hey, man, what, y'all want to go to the BET Awards? We like, what? We like, this got to be a scam. Ain't no way. He like, bro, my dad is an industry executive, blah, blah, blah. He pulled out these tickets. Oh, they was official tickets, like this long. Yeah. I'm like, this not fake. He said, give me $200 for each of them. I gave him I just wanted the deal. I
Sure.
had to feel like I was getting over. I got 175. He like, all right, cool. You give me that. You give me 200. I'm like, all right, I got a deal. Save 25. Man, so now we had to figure out how to get to these BET Awards. So we walking around. We see a couple people in nice suits. See a couple more. We like, all right. Let's just follow these people. And sure enough, did a BET bus come because they had a whole section of the city blocked off. You couldn't even get to it. Man, they seen our tickets. They like, oh, y'all sit right here in the front. We like, what? Like, oh, hold up. People looking at our tickets like, let me see y'all's tickets. They like, dang. Or something, bro, they was official. We got off this bus, skipped the whole line, walked right in there, sat right in the middle. It was the year, and J. Cole just starts. As soon as we sit down, J. Cole comes out with that, which I'm about to blow up.
Yeah.
People, I'm just like, yo.
Yeah.
That's probably why I love Cole so much, man. But guess who we see when we walk out this door, man? We see Woody Wood. He looking at us like, bro, what is y'all doing here? I'm like, yo, me and Chad, we just like, bro, it's Twister. It was a bunch of people. We just like, bro, we serious about our stuff, bro. We've been trying but I do about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I dropped that King of the Hills and all that, and they was playing that for probably about every morning on the radio.
That's awesome.
Act Right at Woody was.
Yeah.
They was playing it. So I would love to link up with Woody, even on that multi-fest trip or something, or that Vino's, bro.
Woody has his
man.
hands in all of those different aspects in the Charleston and West Virginia area, and he does a tremendous job at it. And Woody and I started off back in the day, 2006, 2007, very competitive. He was very passionate and competitive with his radio station. I was the radio station that I was at, and we kind of butt heads like two hard-headed radio guys, and I'm so thankful that he has become a good friend and a good supporter of mine, and he's been on the podcast, and his episode actually is top 5 most downloaded that I have on Spotify is with Woody. So shout out to Woody. So you got some new music coming out. Let the people know everywhere they can find your music, if it's on Spotify, what have you, where they can buy it, and some new music you have coming out.
So the easiest way to find information on all of my music, just go to Google and type in Feenyx, Feenyx. There you can see Spotify, Apple Music. You can read a couple articles about me. You'll find my website, my Instagram, my Twitter, my YouTube. I'm doing vlogs now.
How did you come up with the name Feenyx? I meant to ask you that.
Okay, so I always went by Beatty Tymeless or something like that. But then I moved out here, and somebody they was like, man, you should consider changing your name. I'm like, never, But at this time, I was looking for a mascot for Timeless, and the only thing that made sense was a Feenyx. And I'm like, okay, let's try to incorporate that mascot into it. But it kind of just found me because it just kept sticking with me. I'm like, Feenyx, and I'm working at this. I'm working at T-Mobile in Atlanta, and not knowing I've been working here for about 2-3 years, man. And right across the street, I'm working from this big condo where Young Thug live in, and it's called literally from my door to their door. It's straight across. I've been coming here and this is after I decided to change my name though. This was the confirmation. It was called the Feenyx at Peachtree. I was just like, wow.
That's it.
And it was like I figured that out right before I quit T-Mobile. I was just like, wow. I said, you telling me that building right there is called the Feenyx? And I literally, it was, but after I changed my name, man, it was a whole part of like unlearning, relearning, the process, finding your Feenyx. I feel like everybody got to find their Feenyx. When you're born into this world, you're born, you're going to get molded. You're going to get, they're going to tell you, what to think, what's good, what's bad, you can hear me. My camera kind of just went out.
But I can still hear you. Keep rolling.
Still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's good, what's bad in this world, and it's up to us to unlearn everything and relearn it to make sure it aligns with who we are today, because we have evolved. And I think that's where people kind of get torn in between the two, from what their parents tell them what to believe and what's right and what's wrong, but they grow up feeling some type of way, and now they're caught in between. So you got to find your Feenyx. You got to unlearn. You got to relearn, man. And what don't make sense, get rid of it. What do make sense, hold on to it. Because I also talk to people and ask people, what if you unlearn and relearn something and it didn't go against what your religion was taught when you went up? Another religion worked for you. Are you bold enough or brave enough to switch religions, even if that's what you believe and that's what's talking to you? Because I don't shun any religion. I think we're all one. We all believe in God.
Sure.
I think everybody just got their way to them and they got their little policies and all that. But at the end of the day, you're a human. I'm a human. I believe in God. You believe in God, and it really shouldn't get more difficult than that. But
some of the most ignorant arguments and fights I've ever witnessed in my life was over two Judeo-Christian folks debating theology, and I'm like, y'all believe in the same guy that died for our sins. Why are we all heated and mad over semantics?
I never understood all the churches. All the church. Yeah. It's like this church to that church to that church to that. I'm like, and it's 5 on this block. I'm like, so I'm like, why are we doing this? Yeah. Why there's more churches than schools or basketball
because
courts?
humans. That's why humans. People just get they'll be in a church and something will be said that they don't like or disagree with. So instead of resolving the issue, because a lot of folks don't like to resolve conflict, instead of resolving the issue, we'll just go over here and start our own. So that's how you end up with 500 million different churches.
Yeah. Oh, look like I might be kicking back on. Let me see here.
You broke your webcam. There we go. Hey!
Battery went dead. I had to swap batteries for
Hey, well, I'll tell you what. Let's introduce your new music, man. And I've had you on for over an hour now. Thank you so much for doing this. Cool. And I tell you what, the next time you drop a new album or new music, hit me up, man. I'd love to have you back on and share your music with everyone who watches and listens.
Absolutely, man. It's coming, man. It's coming. So, hey, it's your boy Feenyx, man. Please do me a favor. Go and search Feenyx on Google. Find my song called Police. You'll find it on Spotify. You'll find it on Apple Music. It's one of my most viral songs going on right now. But I also got a whole catalog of something I call timeless music. I think y'all will enjoy my catalog. And please reach out to me. Follow me on Instagram. Shout out to me if you like it, man. Join the website. I got a mailing list on there. I give you a discount on a bag or a timeless mask or something, man. We got merch. We got faith. We got hope, man. We got good energy over here, and it's going to be a great year. And everybody who coming along on this ride with me.
Do you have any shirts? Do you have any timeless or Feenyx shirts?
You know what? I'm about to. That's literally on my that's on my whiteboard right here. I just ordered shirts for my business because I just said right. I wear Feenyx shirts. So I'm like, it's kind of like self-centered. I'm like, let me put on my Trinity Appraisal shirt so people can ask, what is that? Let me promote my business. But I'm about to get some creative players, and that's the next thing I say that's big for me, and I want everybody to watch out for. It's gonna be called the Creative Players, man, and it's gonna be more so. I would love to have you on there. Yeah. I consider you a creative player, Absolutely. Man. You made a name for yourself, man. You well, thank you. You didn't accept what you worked on certain skills. And a little thing about the Creative Players, I thought of these and got this list of 33 character traits that I believe every man, and it is a man's podcast, but women can listen to, but it'll probably be for man, but it's these 33 traits every man should have, man. And you grade them. Base yourself 1 through 3. So you get yourself 1 through 3 or none, and that's how you're going to kind of get your rating. You can only get 99 because you can never be perfect, but it's just something to motivate you and see, like, I could be better in here. I could be better in this area, and this area. And it took me a long time to come up with it, but I promise you it's concrete. If you, you want to get into that, man, I'm your guy for it, but thank you,
I'd
man.
love to. And the reason I ask about shirts, if you want to shoot me one, mail me one, I'll wear it into my podcast episodes if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you just text me the address. I'm about to say, tell me it, but not text me that address.
I'll tell you off air.
All right.
Hey,
all right.
So this new song is called "The Police." Is that right?
It's called Police.
Police.
Yeah, just Police.
Police.
Yeah. Yep. That's the one that I dropped that is it's going to take off here soon. That's the one I'm shooting a video for. The latest song I also got, which you'll probably see, is also called Paper. You'll see a song. I got a song called Paper and a song called Physical Contact. I don't know why all these songs start with P's, but that's pretty funny.
It's because you took the P out of Feenyx and it's getting back at you.
I know, right? Yeah, okay. I like that.
All right, Feenyx. Hey, thanks for jumping on here. We're going to debut some new music right now. Police, check out Feenyx everywhere you get your music, no matter what app it is or where you watch it online. Thank you for doing this with me, brother.
Hey, man, have a good one. I'll hit you on the text, man, for that address, all right?
Who that knocking at my door? Who that trying to tap my phone? Girl, why you going through my phone? Feenyx. Yeah, been it booming, floating in a tube on this money pool. Paper on paper, make my life more comfortable. Ate a red pill, stack bills, no Huxtable. Swear that open doors, put points on the board. Yeah, shawty lost some weight and now her ass little fatter. Hoes mad, but the last boyfriend met her. The way she move and dance, yeah, I just gotta have her. Is it real? Is it fake? I just gotta ask her. So hands on with it, they gon' try to throw stones at it. Move like the president, yeah. My position permanent, yeah. I don't need your permission, yeah. Tables turning, niggas switching, yeah. Low key, don't know my business, so if I know the cops ain't got a witness. Who that knocking at my door? Who that tryna tap my phone? Who that tryna steal my hoe? Yeah. Who that knocking at my door? Who that tryna tap my phone? Who that tryna steal my hoe? Free wire selling, fuck jail. I'm on that paper every day. I'm like, what's bail? No, what drugs? What phone? What scale? What car? What witness? What mail? Don't accuse me with accusations. See, I am not involved. I ain't seen nothing. Must have happened when I nodded off. You ain't seasoned nothing. I ain't saying nothing. Not at all. In black and white, yeah. They gon' blow the whistle when you ball. Yeah. Interrogated just to use my words against me. Fake. They ain't kept it 100 in a century. Under they umbrella, making up for dirty cops. Hold up, that's Feenyx. Throwing cheese at the rats and get trapped. That's Mickey. When you the enemy, they take you out like Kennedy. Assassinate you all over a penalty. Everybody got an angle, this ain't symmetry. But a pyramid is real. Make sure you at the apex. Speak raw, stay protected. I ain't talking latex. Just wait for perfect time and all it took was patience. Talk to these rats cause I don't talk to agents, motherfucker. Who that knocking at my door?